Hello, listeners. I'm David Mitchell, also known as Mr. D, host of the Schoolhouse Scuttlebutt podcast. Today, I've chosen to step out from behind a microphone and in front of a camera, so I do apologize for that for most of you all. The purpose of this video, I want to discuss an amazing idea that has been dwelling in my mind for quite a while: live streaming. Of course, I have a few people who are probably saying, live streaming, that's been done for years, buddy. We get it. No, I mean live streaming as far as taking it into the classroom, taking it into the school. So live streaming, uh, a big idea for that I have for this is the first thing that came to mind was uh, morning announcements, events that take place at a school. Now, when we think of live streaming, we think of Facebook, we think of podcasts, we think of YouTube, TikTok, all these different formats to do the live streaming on. And the first question comes up: why would anybody want to live stream inside of a public school? I mean, why would anybody want to see that madness? Do we really want to scare the public that bad? So when I was given this task, I brainstormed quite a few different types of technology. The number one thing that popped up in my mind was security, though. I really wanted to talk about security. Badges, getting students in, those badges, buzzing students into a school, keeping track of attendance, placement, emergency drills. That was right there. But for some reason, live streaming just kept tugging at my heart. So I gave in, focused on live streaming, but there is one problem. I have no idea what to do when it comes to live streaming. So I went to an expert to kind of help me with that. And so today my guest is
Alicia Davis from Celebration Church in the Tri-Cities. I have 10 years of teaching experience of 4th and 5th graders, so I kind of tied that into what turned me into a tech manager as well.
Awesome. So being a teacher is definitely going to help me kind of relate to the information she's going to give me, because as I said, I have nothing to go on as far as live streaming or using any type of technology that's going to help me with that. So first off, can you just give me a quick brief, what is live stream? What makes live streaming different from recording a video with my phone and then sharing it with people?
So live streaming, you can put it on all different platforms and you don't have to touch it. You just press a button and it goes live. And where recording, you have to stand there and hold it or just put it on a camera and let it go.
Awesome. So when it came to live streaming, when I was thinking about this originally, I was thinking, as my students are sitting, and because you're in the classroom for quite a while, your students are there first thing in the morning, they're going through the motions, getting unpacked, getting assignments ready, going to the restroom, just basically that start to the day. And then, I don't know about your school, but where I'm from, we hear that crackling coming over the intercom. And, great guy, he's a hard worker. Our principal comes on, we do a moment of silence, we do the Pledge of Allegiance. He might have something to say, 99 times out of 100, just have a good day. So I don't know about you, but my kids being fourth graders, that's very boring for them. That's old technology, the same technology we had when we were students, the crackling of an intercom. So how can we spruce this up? So I thought about live streaming, having maybe like a local news station inside the school. That way the principal, teachers, even students can get on the camera and these kids in the classroom can see their peers face to face. So I've been thinking because like I said, I have no idea what to do with live streaming. I'm like, oh, we have an awesome live streaming service at the church I go to. So reached out. I'm glad some friends reached back and they got me in touch with you, the expert in live streaming. So I know we were kind of talking about a few things earlier about different formats for a schoolhouse, for a building of 350 kids, 40 teachers and adults and staff, compared to 3 church services that you do over a weekend. You do those every weekend. What would be a good format for me to look at as far as trying to implement that type of technology, that live streaming technology, into my schoolhouse?
So we actually use 2 different services in Celebration. So on our weekend services, we use a program called Resi, and it comes with a Resi encoder, and it's a lot more of it's good for the consistent weekly things that you can schedule it and just let it start. For a school, for our other activities, we use something called Restream, and I bought a Teradek VidiU encoder that just plugs in HDMI to a camera and plug it into the internet, and it works. and connect it to Restream, which can go out to any platform. We use Facebook and YouTube for ours, but you can do it on Zoom. You can do it on any of those other platforms that are out there, Instagram, whatever would work for your school in a safety thing. A lot of times that we do on YouTube, we do unlisted recordings.
Okay.
And an unlisted recording means that it's just there, but it's not out for public. So anybody who has the link can get to it, but if they don't have the link, then it's safe.
Okay, that brings me to a really important point, because not only do we want this live streaming service to be beneficial to the kids and the staff of that school for the day, but parents, there's lots of parents and loved ones who are always reaching out to the school, what's coming up, what's going on in school. And I'm not necessarily saying that the parents and the loved ones need to have full access to like every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday morning announcements. I'm sure they'll get tired of doing the pledge as well. But the security thing that you mentioned, that's very important, because not only could we use live streaming for morning announcements, we could use it for events. I'm trying to think back to COVID, but COVID is a little bit different. We had the technology to go virtual in so many different aspects during COVID. And, we're 3, almost 4 years removed from that. So technology is only getting better. So with that security, like, who says we just have to do morning announcements? We can also use that live streaming for musical events, like for the grandparents that maybe aren't too well, or maybe a parent who has to work a little bit overtime, but they don't want to miss that. So we could live stream these musical events, fall festival performances, even fourth or even fifth grade graduation. So man, that's awesome. That really hits home there, because even though it's for kids and it's supposed to be fun, security is still a big part of this. So I'm trying to. So the security is good. The different types of, or the different formats you mentioned. I guess one thing that would come to mind, especially when it comes to school system, is affordability. So out of the two that you were talking about, not only affordability but user friendly, which format do you think would work best for our school, as far as getting it off the ground and not going to the school board and getting shut down because we slide a piece of paper with the wrong numbers? So.
I'm assuming your school is like my school in that there was not much budget.
Yes.
And that for that reason, I would recommend the Restream and the Teradek. It's an annual fee, and it's based on how many people are in your church or in your school or any venue. But it's a one annual fee for the Restream, and then it's a one-time purchase for the Teradek encoder.
Okay.
And the Resi is more of an expensive thing. It's a monthly fee, and it's a lot more nominal than the Restream.
So if I were to take some numbers to the school board meeting next month with an idea and a low wallet, that first one would be the way to go.
I would do Restream, definitely.
Okay.
And for that, the user-friendly part of it is if you want to put the kids in. So I taught fifth grade. I would love to see my kids involved in that because I did math and science. So I would put them in charge of programming it and getting it set up. And then all it is a go live record button, and then you stop recording, and 2 buttons once the initial setup is done.
Man, definitely. And like I said, the kids, especially those older kids, those fifth and fourth graders, want to be a part of that. Kind of gives them that responsibility, that ownership of something that's taking place in their school. That's their school, and this is their platform to get their voices out, not only to the kids in their hallways, but to the loved ones and the family members of that community, of that school. I guess as we kind of wind down with this interview, you've shed a light on a lot of important things that I was just very unfamiliar with. I'm probably going to go back and watch these recordings just to get the notes into my mind, because I'll brain dump them as soon as I cut the camera off. But one thing, with you being in this field, working with live stream, and with the service this evening, like Pastor Robert was talking about, what are some trouble spots as far as laughing? What are some things that are going to give us trouble, and we may need to have a different mindset on how to troubleshoot these? What are some common things that you see causing slow progression with live streaming?
Our number one battle that we face is internet dropping. So if you don't have reliable internet, or if like here, if the wind blows, it tends to drop. Then that if you don't have reliable internet, you can't stream, because that's what it goes through the network and has to go off of the internet. So that's the number one issue. But you can hit all tops. So that's the beauty of technology. You never know what's going to happen.
Absolutely, it's ever evolving,
and you can prepare for the worst, and something else completely different will pop up.
absolutely.
But internet dropping is probably the number one thing you'll hit.
Well, I believe that. I mean, just from experience in my own house, just a week ago, someone took a pole down on the interstate, and it took our internet out. It took the internet out for the whole day at the house. Now I had power and I had water, but I couldn't do nothing with my power and water. I didn't have no internet, so it's kind of like a Flintstone day for us. I even put a DVD in. Like my son's looking at me like, "What is this?" So, internet, that's a big deal. Well, I definitely appreciate you taking the time to give me some input on this idea that I would like to push forward in my school, because I see it would be very beneficial. Before I let you go, as someone who works in this field now and someone who worked in education, um, would this have been something that you would have loved to? And I think you kind of hit on it earlier in one of your comments. Would this be something that you would be interested in helping if you were still in that educational field, to bring to your school and to your students?
I would have absolutely loved to have this for my fifth graders, as they could have done the morning announcements for our school, because we did morning circle pre-COVID, and then after COVID, we weren't allowed to be in the same big room together.
Yep.
So having it during like that time would have been great for them to get that technology experience and to be able to be leaders in the school and show them.
Awesome. Well, again, I appreciate it. There's a lot of information that I just was not aware of. Technology is crazy. I thought live streaming was as simple as holding your phone up, hitting a button, but apparently I was wrong, and I'm glad I reached out to somebody who knew more about it than I did. So thank you for this opportunity to speak with you, and I appreciate everything you do here at the church and for our kiddos in the afternoon program.